Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Prime. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. In the next 1 hour, we bring you all the stories and updates from India and the world. Tirath Singh Rawat is set to be the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Meanwhile, a probe by the opposition continues in the parliament. We'll also bring updates on the COVID situation, particularly from Maharashtra, where the cases had been rising, and INS Karanj commission into the Indian Navy. We will learn about the state-of-the-art submarine in the show up ahead. First, the big news at the start. Tirath Singh Rawat to become new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand to take oath at 4 p.m. today. Trivendra Singh Rawat resigned yesterday, just 9 days before completion of 4 years of his term. Haryana Assembly debates no confidence motion against Manohar Lal Khattar government moved by the Congress. BJP, JJP and Congress issued whip requesting all members to be present in the House continuously. West Bengal Chief Minister, TMC Chief Mamata Banerjee to file nomination for Nandigram Assembly. Scrutiny of candidature for Phase 1 of West Bengal and Assam to take place. DMK likely to release its list of candidates. Third of the 6 Scorpion-class submarines, INS Karanj, commissioned into Indian Navy at Mumbai. State-of-the-art technology used in Scorpion-class has superior stealth features. 52nd Raising Day of CISF being celebrated. Prime Minister, Home Minister extend greetings to courageous personnel and their families. Prime Minister says their role in furthering national safety, security and progress is deeply valued. Over 2.4 crore vaccine doses administered across the country. More than 13.5 lakh COVID vaccine doses given in 24 hours. Maharashtra, Kerala, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu exhibit high rise in daily COVID cases. First ever leaders meeting of the Quad group of countries to be held on Friday. According to US official, Quad nations meeting to announce financing to boost India's vaccine output. And US House of Representatives to vote on Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan. The House aims to approve rescue package in time for President to sign it before key unemployment programs expire on Sunday. Let's now begin with the big news. In Uttarakhand, BJP MP Tirath Singh Rawat will become the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. He has been elected as state BJP legislature party leader and will take oath as Chief Minister today at 4 p.m. Trivendra Singh Rawat resigned just 9 days before completion of his 4 years of his term. Speaking to media persons, Tirath Singh assured people of the state to ensure overall development by showing team spirit.
मैं अपने आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी और गृह मंत्री जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँ केंद्र नेतृत्व का, जिन्होंने मुझे पदभार दिया है। ऐसा विश्वास किया, एक छोटे से कार्यकर्ता को गांव से आया हुआ, कल्पना नहीं की थी कभी मैंने। और मेरा है कि ये जनता के विश्वास पर पूरा खरा उतरने का प्रयास करेंगे। 4 साल मैंने मुख्यमंत्री जी ने जो काम किए हैं इस प्रदेश के लिए, उसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
And my colleague Rohit Tripathi is joining us from Dehradun with more updates on the story. Rohit, Tirath Yadav is going to be the new Chief Minister. What preparations for the swearing in and what are the key challenges ahead of him, the short term that he's left with?
Right, Tirath Singh Rawat is going to be sworn in at 4 o'clock in the evening today in the Raj Bhavan. All the preparation in Raj Bhavan are underway. The names of the cabinet ministers are going to be announced tomorrow. And I think the biggest challenge that remains in front of the incoming chief minister is the assembly elections that are less than a year away. The appointment of chief minister also means that he'll have to fight a by-election within 6 months from now. and within a year he'll have to fight another general election for the assembly. Apart from that, the biggest problem in Uttarakhand is the really ravaged industry of tourism, which is the biggest revenue earner for the state, as well as the employment generation of Uttarakhand has been hard hit by the pandemic. So the incoming chief minister has the task set out for him.
Right. Rohit, also broadly, what kind of experience as a leader, as an administrator does Tirath Singh Rawat bring in?
Right. Tirath Singh Rawat has been a seasoned politician for the BJP since 1980s. He has been the Minister of Education for the state in the interim government from 2000 to 2002. He has been the state president for BJP from 2013 to 2015. So he has a long history of working in the Uttarakhand administration. He has also he has a image of someone who can work across the party factions, which are sort of infamous in Uttarakhand, whether it's the Kumaon-Garhwal divide, whether it's the plain or hills divide. He has allies across the board. So that is one thing that goes in his favor.
Right there, Rohit, thanks very much for joining us with those inputs. Tirath Singh Yadav, new Chief Minister, to take oath at 4 p.m. today. Thanks, Rohit, for the updates. Moving on to Haryana, the State Assembly is debating a no-confidence motion against Manohar Lal Khattar government. The motion was moved by the Congress against BJP-JJP coalition government. In view of the development, both the parties and the opposition have issued whip to their members to remain compulsorily present in the House. BJP's ally, JJP, had also issued a whip to its respective MLAs. And my colleague Akanksha Saxena, who's tracking the developments in Haryana, joins us from Chandigarh. Akanksha, help us understand the basis of the no-confidence motion and how much of a challenge is the Khattar government facing at the moment? Akanksha, I hope you're able to...
Shubhendu, right now this is the third day of the budget session, which started on Friday, the March 5th. And it was decided the no confidence motion was...
Go on, please.
No confidence motion was to be debated today. It was decided by the Speaker, Gyanchan Gupta. So today morning at 10 o'clock, the question hour started, and after that at 11 o'clock sometime, 2 hours was given initially for the debate on this no confidence motion, which was brought by the opposition leader and Congress leader Bhupender Singh Hooda. And the first one to speak on no confidence motion was Bhupender Singh Hooda, leader of opposition, and then MLAs of different parties, BJP, JJP and Congress have been debating on the no confidence motion, and right now also the debate is going on. And there's a lot of commotion in the House during the debate because yes, there has been accusations and counter accusations are happening, and after an hour has been increased for the debate by the Speaker also, and after the debate is going to finish, then Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar is going to speak, and after that the voting is going to take place, and then we will see that what exactly is going to happen to the no confidence motion which was brought by the Congress leader Bhupender Singh Hooda today.
Right. Akanksha, can you also give us a glimpse of the key takeaways so far in the no confidence debate that is taking place in the Haryana Assembly?
It's basically accusations against the government, and there is a counter by the people, by BJP and JJP, and certainly the farm law is one of the main things which has been talked about in the debates. And if we look at the Haryana Assembly, currently It's a 90-member Haryana Assembly, and currently an effective strength of 88 members are there who's going to be participating in the voting. And BJP has 40 members, and with GJP supporting it, JJP has got 10, and Congress has 30. 7 are independents, and 5 of whom are supporting the government, while 1 member is of Haryana Lokhit Party, who's also extended the support to the government. So the BJP and JJP alliance majority has 50, and it's a fair number to actually have a win-win situation right now.
Right. So in terms of numbers, Manolal Khattar government does not seem to be in any danger as such. But Akanksha, in terms of issues when the opposition is attacking the state government, what are those specific issues that have come up in the debate so far?
Unemployment is one of the issues, the farmer bill is one of the issues, some of the scams which has happened is some of the issues, but yes, certainly the opposition is always there to put on all these kind of allegations, and there have been the government is countering those allegations, and a fair amount of time has been given to all the MLAs to speak on the no confidence motion.
All right, right there. Akanksha, thanks very much for joining us with those updates from Haryana. Moving on to our developing story now. Let's look at news from poll-bound state of West Bengal. Chief Minister and TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee today filed nomination papers from Nandigram, and she started her campaign in Nandigram from Tuesday. Her former cabinet colleague Shubhendu Adhikari is also hitting back at Mamata with equal measure from his home turf, where he inaugurated his election campaign office earlier today. Adhikari will file his nomination from Nandigram on March 12th. On the other hand, CPIM is planning to file its own high-profile candidate from Nandigram on behalf of the Grand Alliance. So the triangular fight with 3 VIP candidates will be the center of attraction in Nandigram in the second phase of polling on 1st April. Scrutiny of candidature for phase 1 of state assembly election is underway today. And we'll track this political development, but a big news coming in. CHACKO, Congress leader, has resigned from the party. The updates that are just coming in. Senior Congress leader CHACKO Wednesday today announced that he has quit the Congress party. The blow to the Congress comes ahead of Kerala Assembly elections on April 6. Senior Congress leader CHACKO has quit the Congress party. At a press conference, he said, "I have quit the Congress and sent my resignation to the party's interim chief, Sonia Gandhi." Big blow to the Congress ahead of Kerala Assembly elections. Senior leader CHACKO has resigned from the Congress party. News just coming in. My colleague Ajay Vikram is joining us with more updates. Ajay, big blow for the Congress party. CHACKO leaves the party at a time of the crucial Kerala elections. What updates are you tracking at the moment?
जी बिल्कुल, ये खबर आ रही है कि CHACKO ने इस्तीफा दे दिया है कांग्रेस से। इसको उसी सिलसिले में देखना चाहिए जिसमें कांग्रेस के तमाम वरिष्ठ नेता आला कमान से नाराज चल रहे हैं और शीर्ष नेतृत्व से नाराज चल रहे हैं, खासतौर से पार्टी के भीतर की जो स्थितियां हैं उसको लेकर। और केरला चुनाव के पहले इस्तीफा देना भी एक बड़े झटके के रूप में इस लिहाज से देखा जा रहा है क्योंकि CHACKO केरला के एक बड़े नेता थे। त्रिशूर से वो सांसद हुआ करते थे। इसके पहले भी वो यूपीए सरकार में केंद्रीय मंत्री रहे, यूथ कांग्रेस के बड़े नेता रहे और इस समय भी पार्टी के भीतर और काफी उनकी स्थिति अच्छी थी और सोनिया गांधी के काफी करीबी माने जाते थे। इस वजह से भी ये माना जा रहा है कि CHACKO का चुनाव के पहले इस्तीफा देना कांग्रेस के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा झटका है। कारणों के विषय में अभी जो मेरे सूत्रों से बात हो रही है, स्पष्ट तौर पर कोई अभी तक कोई इस बारे में नहीं बता रहा है, लेकिन जो जानकारी मिल रही है वो यही मिल रही है कि पार्टी के भीतर जो वरिष्ठ नेताओं की राहुल गांधी एंड टीम से जो नाराजगी चल रही है वही एक बड़ी वजह हो सकती है और अभी और खबर आनी बाकी है।
Right there, my colleague Ajay Vikram Singh giving us update on the big breaking that has just come in. Senior Congress leader PC CHACKO has quit the party ahead of the Kerala Assembly elections. He is a big Congress leader, and in fact, the rift within the Congress party is speculated to be one of the reasons why he may have left the party at this crucial juncture. We now return to a big story from West Bengal that is heading for Assembly elections. My colleague Prasenjit Bakshi is joining us with more updates. Prasenjit, talking about Nandigram, it is really the epicenter of the big battle for West Bengal. What developments are you tracking from there?
Look, Swendu, right now we are standing just few meters away from Haldia SDO office, where right now Mamata Banerjee is filing her nomination. It is few kilometers away from Nandigram, and at the same time at Nandigram, Suvendu Adhikari is inaugurating his central election office. So in both ways, we can say that today is the beginning of the entire drama of the epicenter of the second phase of polling of West Bengal, that is the 1st April. Suvendu Adhikari on one side and Mamata Banerjee on the other. And significantly, I must to Haldia SDO office, we offered prayer in a temple, which is very significant. Though we know that in Nandigram, the minority population is 25.7%, but for the last 2-3 days, Mamata Banerjee is hopping from one temple to another temple. She is chanting Chandi mantra. So in all way, I think, or the political observers are thinking that Mamata Banerjee is concentrating as if she is confirmed about 25.7%. Now she is concentrating on the rest of the majority population by hopping different temples. But at the same time, Suvendu Adhikari, considering as one of the most, this type of a person who loves to pray before God in every occasion. So it is a battle of majority vote. It is a battle to divide the minority vote. Even the left front Congress and the ISF secular front, they are trying to field a very prominent candidate over here in Nandigram. They have not announced the name, but if it is Muhammad Salim, as the rumor is going on, then it will be epicenter. It is already, but it will be a hotbed for the second phase of election in West Bengal. Suvendu.
Right, Prasenjit, now for Suvendu Adhikari, Nandigram is like home ground, but what kind of challenge is he facing from Mamata Banerjee, and how is he planning to deal with it?
Suvendu, I must say that already there are certain posters and hoardings that Mamata Banerjee is outsider. Bahiragat, the word which is using over here by Mamata Banerjee herself for the BJP leaders who are coming from other states and who are non-Bengali speaking. But the same befitting reply Suvendu Adhikari is trying to give to Mamata Banerjee when she decided to nominate herself from Nandigram, that she is outsider in case of Nandigram, and Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari is the local guy, is the Bhumiputra. So this is a battle between Bahiragat and Bhumiputra. Now it is to be seen that how Nandigram people, they react, because this is the place where 10 years ago Mamata Banerjee started her political career along with the Singur movement. Now one thing I must say here, that in Nandigram, there is a possibility of industrialization in the coming government, whether it is TMC or BJP. If that happens, then again, the land acquisition is a major problem. So whether the people of Nandigram, they will accept the land acquisition after 1 decade or not, that is to be seen in the coming days. And that is to be seen that who is the local guy and who is the outsider.
Right there, Prasenjit. Thanks very much for joining us with those updates from Haldia, West Bengal. They're all set for a pitched political battle. Moving on now to our national prime segment. Let's get some updates from the Parliament. The opposition members continue to create pandemonium in both houses of Parliament today. They held sloganeering in protest against the increase in fuel prices, demanded discussion on the ongoing farmers' protest. Disruption led to adjournment of both the houses. Rajya Sabha was adjourned first till 12 p.m. amid sloganeering by the opposition over rising fuel prices. Within minutes of reconvening, Rajya Sabha was adjourned once again till 2 p.m. It is to be noted that there will be no sitting of Rajya Sabha tomorrow and day after. Meanwhile, Lok Sabha was adjourned till 12:30 p.m. amid uproar by the opposition over rising fuel prices. When the House resumed, Lok Sabha passed the National Capital Territory of Delhi Law Special Provision Second Amendment Bill 2021 by voice vote. Later, due to protests by the opposition, the House was adjourned till 2:30 p.m. And my colleague Vikas Arthi is tracking all the updates from the Parliament. He joins us now with the details. Vikas, the uproar by the opposition continues. Help us understand the manner in which the government is tackling it and the stand of the government in the Parliament.
Well, right, Shubhendu, despite the uproar in both the houses today, some legislative work done by the in both the houses. In Lok Sabha, the special law related to Delhi that was passed by the House, and right now Rajya Sabha is considering arbitration and conciliation bill. So some work is being done in both the houses despite the uproar in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In fact, just few minutes back, leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha again mentioned that they have given a notice of notice under Rule 267 for immediate discussion on farmers' issue, but the chair informed leader of opposition that chairman has already taken a decision on their notices, and apart from it, MOS Parliamentary Affairs informed in the morning that this issue may be discussed in next week when there will be a discussion on working of Ministry of Agriculture. So these issues can be raised at that point in time. So as of now, in Rajya Sabha, chair is trying to conduct the House, and the House is considering the arbitration and conciliation bill. It was supposed to be passed on Monday itself, but due to the continuous disruption in both the houses, we saw that Rajya Sabha didn't work properly, and it is hoped that today at least this bill will be passed in Rajya Sabha.
There, Vikas, thanks very much for joining us with that update from the Parliament. And moving on, a meeting of the BJP Parliamentary Party was held today, which was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, Nirmala Sitharaman, Dr. S. Shankar, Smriti Irani, Prahlad Patel, among other leaders who were present at the meeting. The meeting took place after almost a year due to COVID-19 pandemic. During the meeting, it was decided to commemorate 75 years of independence. A 75-week-long program will be organized from March 12th at 75 places. Prime Minister called upon all members of Parliament to participate in this program. He also said that Prime Minister asked all MPs and party workers to help the eligible people get the COVID-19 vaccines, including helping them reach the vaccination centers.
दुनिया को भी वैक्सीन हमने जो सप्लाई करके दुनिया का भी हमने जो केयर एंड कॉशन भी दिया है, उनके लिए हमने केयर भी किया है। इसके लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी पार्लियामेंट्री पार्टी माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को एक प्रस्ताव करके नरेंद्र मोदी जी का अभिनंदन किया है। और इसके अलावा प्रधानमंत्री जी आज हमारे एमपीओ को एड्रेस करते हुए ये कहा है कि जो वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, इसमें हर एक एमपी लोगों से जुड़ जाना चाहिए।
Let's look at some other news now related to the pandemic. COVID-19 update from across the country. India has crossed a landmark in COVID-19 vaccination. Over 2.43 crore vaccine doses have been administered through 3,39,145 sessions across the states and union territories, as per the provisional report till 7 a.m. this morning, while more than 13.5 lakh doses given in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, 6 states of Maharashtra, Kerala, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu are reporting high daily new COVID cases. 17,921 new daily cases have been reported in the past 24 hours. 83.76% of the new cases are from the above-mentioned 6 states. Maharashtra, in particular, continues to report highest daily new cases at 9,927. It is followed by Kerala with some 2,300 cases, while Punjab reported over 1,000 new cases. Union Minister for Women Development, Smriti Irani, has said that Prime Minister Modi was the first and only Prime Minister to have recognized the need for toilets for safety, health and dignity of women. She was speaking at the Men for Women event organized by the National Commission for Women.
साल 2014 से पहले महिला हिंसा के संदर्भ में जब भी कोई आंकड़े आते तो ये ध्यान में आता, ये घिनौना सच कि 40% से ज़्यादा हिंसक वो वारदातें महिलाओं के साथ तब होती जब वो खुले में शौच के लिए जाती। इसलिए न सिर्फ महिला सम्मान, महिला स्वास्थ्य, बल्कि महिला सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से भी आज इस मंच पे when we celebrate the male potential that delivered gender justice, we need to recognize the construction of 10 crore toilets for women for the first time in the history of our country in less than 4 to 5 years.
And Smriti Irani said that Prime Minister Modi also initiated the mission to provide sanitary towels to women for ₹1 only.
प्रधानमंत्री ने फिर लाल किले की प्राचीर से कहा कि we proudly provide sanitary napkins at the ₹1 for women across the country through जन औषधि केंद्र। देश में पहली बार हमने एक प्रधानमंत्री को लाल किले से राष्ट्रीय संबोधन में कहते हुए सुना और नॉर्मलाइज किया that it is our equal dedicated responsibility to ensure that women have access to menstrual hygiene products. And the fact that we had a male Prime Minister for the first time in the history of our country even constitute the first ever menstrual hygiene administrative protocol speaks volumes.
The 52nd CISF Raising Day is being celebrated at the CISF headquarters in Ghaziabad today. Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla graced the occasion as the chief guest. The Central Industrial Security Force is a central armed police force of the country. CISF is one of the 6 paramilitary forces in the country and functions under the Union Home Ministry with its headquarters at New Delhi. It was set up on March 10, 1969 with 3 battalions under the CISF Act 1968 passed in Parliament of the country. Ever since, the date is celebrated as CISF Raising Day each year. While addressing the event, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla said that the force has been playing a vital role in the development of the nation.
CISF अपनी दक्षता, कार्यकुशलता एवं चुनौतियों के अनुरूप स्वयं को ढालकर खतरों से निपटते हुए देश के विकास में निरंतर भागीदारी निभा रही है। बल को विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में सुरक्षा की महत्वपूर्ण जिम्मेदारियां सौंपी जा रही हैं और राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से अति संवेदनशील एवं महत्वपूर्ण प्रतिष्ठानों की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी CISF को सौंपे जाने का वास्तव में बल की क्षमताओं के प्रति सरकार के विश्वास का परिचायक है।
And on the Raising Day, CISF DG Subodh Kumar Jaiswal ensured that the force surely will make efforts to become more client-responsive force. He added that an in-house grievance redressal application has been developed to address the grievances of the personnel in the force.
हमारी पूरी कोशिश है कि CISF एक क्लाइंट रिस्पॉन्सिव फोर्स के रूप में क्लाइंट्स की आवश्यकताओं के अनुसार काम करने का प्रयत्न करेगा और एक कॉस्टली फोर्स होने का जो परसेप्शन है उसे हम पूरी तरह से बदल सकेंगे। एक इन हाउस ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल ऐप उपलब्ध कराने के साथ ही एक रोबस्ट सिस्टम का भी निर्माण किया गया है जिससे बल के सभी सदस्यों की समस्याओं को हम प्रभावी ढंग से दूर कर सकें। हमारे भूतपूर्व बल सदस्यों की पेंशन संबंधी समस्याओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने एंड्रॉयड प्लेटफॉर्म पर पेंशनर कॉर्नर मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन लॉन्च किया है जिससे भी हमारे बल सदस्यों द्वारा विकसित किया गया है। इस डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से भूतपूर्व बलकर्मियों को इनबिल्ट शिकायत निवारण तंत्र के लाभ के अलावा सभी महत्वपूर्ण सूचनाएं जैसे नौकरी के अवसर, पेंशन संबंधित लाभ अधिक जानकारियां मिल सकेंगे।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his greetings on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi tweeted and said, on their Raising Day, greetings to the courageous CISF personnel and their families. Their role in furthering national safety, progress is deeply valued. That's a message that Prime Minister sent on the Raising Day of CISF. Union Home Minister Amit Shah also tweeted a special message, Raising Day greetings to our brave CISF personnel and their families, from shielding India's vital establishments to serving the nation during disasters. CISF plays a key role in the country's growth. Nation salutes the devotion and sacrifice of our courageous force. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also extended greetings to CISF personnel. He said, on their Raising Day, greetings to CISF personnel and their families. CISF plays a crucial role in safeguarding India's strategic assets. It is a multidimensional force known for its courage and professionalism. On to our next big story. Indian naval ship INS Karanj, India's third Scorpion-class submarine, today was commissioned into the Indian Navy in Mumbai in presence of Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Karambir Singh. INS Kalavari and INS Khanderi are the two submarines of this class which have already been commissioned into service. Speaking on the occasion, Admiral Karambir Singh said the commissioning marks an important step in further enhancing the capabilities of the Indian Navy.
The commissioning of Karanj in the Swarnim Vijay Varsh, which is the 50th anniversary of the 1971 Indo-Pak War, is a tribute to the valor and courage of the crew of the old Karanj. The commissioning of the boat marks an important step in further enhancing the combat capability of the Indian Navy. Submarines' firepower and stealth will serve as a potent deterrent to our adversaries and signal our intent to safeguard India's maritime interests in the Indo-Pacific.
And the Navy Chief also mentioned about self-reliance in defence. He said that Indian Navy has been a strong proponent of indigenization and self-reliance in defence over the past 7 decades. At present, out of 42 ships and submarines on order, 40 are being constructed in Indian shipyards indigenously.
We all know that Indian Navy has been a strong proponent of indigenization and self-reliance in defence over the past 7 decades. At present, 40 out of the 42 ships and submarines on order, 40 are being constructed in Indian shipyards. So the impetus to Atmanirbharta or indigenization is a fundamental tenet of Indian Navy's growth story and future trajectory.
And let's now learn more about the state-of-the-art fighter submarine INS Karanj. Mentioned it's the third Scorpion-class submarine commissioned into the Indian Navy. It's the third one. 3 more are to come. 2 such submarines have already been in service. What is special about INS Karanj? Well, it's completely made in India. It's completely indigenous. It talks about India's self-reliance in the defence sector. Talking about its dimensions, 67.5 meters long, 12.3 meters tall, and weighs about over 1,500 tons. We're talking about INS Karanj. We'll also learn about its firepower. Ahead, what's special about INS Karanj is also that it can dive up to 350 meters under the sea. It is given its compact dimensions and also the weight that it can dive deeper. A special feature about INS Karanj, it has an air-independent propulsion. Now what it does is that it can enable INS Karanj to remain under sea for 50 days. Other non-nuclear submarines have to come onto the surface of the sea every couple of days to get oxygen and other supplies. It's smaller in size, it's quicker to maneuver, and it's swift in action. So the compact size also works to the advantage of INS Karanj. Moving on, let's talk about the manner in which it's lethal. It's called Silent Killer. It's got an advanced acoustic silence techniques, so it does not give out sounds or signals that can help enemies track its movement, and therefore it becomes particularly lethal. It's equipped with state-of-the-art torpedoes and anti-ship missiles, the manner in which INS Karanj is fully equipped to take on the enemies. Moving on, let's learn about the ways in which it's equipped. It's completely capable to undertake anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, intelligence gathering, mine laying on the bed of the sea, and also area surveillance. So for all these actions, INS Karanj is fully capable, and what's special is that it's completely made in India. It's indigenous technology put together. Moving on to our next point, state-of-the-art torpedo decoy system is also there. So not only can it launch torpedoes to attack the enemies will find it difficult to track INS Karanj for this special decoy system that is inbuilt that will make it very difficult for the enemies to track the presence and the movement of INS Karanj. So those were some of the highlights of the state-of-the-art submarine. Moving on to our next story, Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and other MPs from Odisha handed over a memorandum to Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar, demanding his intervention into the issue of forest fires in the state. Claiming that no life was lost in the forest blaze which had been raging in Odisha for more than a week, the state government on Tuesday said some 95% of the fire points have been extinguished, or at least they've been attended to over the last 24 hours. The sustained proactive actions of the government and rigorous work by field staff has led to total containment of the fire. A massive fire ripped through the vast tracts of Semplebal National Park in Mayurbhanj district and other wildlife habitats nearby, raising concerns among wildlife and environmental activists over its possible impact. And time now to get all the updates from the world of business and finance. And Ajay Mishra joins us with all the updates.
Thank you, Shumendu. Let's start with the markets first. The Indian markets that climbed off their early highs but were still trading in the green in the Wednesday noon deal. Among the headline indices, the S&P BSE Sensex rose 200 points to 51,250 levels, and the broader Nifty 50 index topped the 15,150 mark. Tech Mahindra, Axis Bank and Bajaj Finance were the top Sensex gainers, up 2% each. All the Nifty sectoral indices, barring Nifty PSU banks and Nifty metals, traded with gains, led by Nifty IT index, up 1.4%. Meanwhile, the broader markets have outperformed their benchmark peers, with the S&P BSE mid-cap and small-cap indices trading 0.7% higher each. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) on Tuesday projected that Indian economy will bounce back to grow at 12.6% in FY22, the highest among G20 countries, aided by additional fiscal support after the COVID-19 pandemic pushed the economy into recession after a gap of more than 40 years. The rebound has been relatively fast in several large emerging economies. Activity moved above pre-pandemic levels in China, India and Turkey, helped by strong fiscal and quasi-fiscal measures and a recovery in manufacturing and construction, the report said. For the global economy, OECD increased its forecast to 5.6% for 2021 from 4.2% estimated earlier. The global economic prospects have improved markedly in recent months, helped by gradual deployment of effective vaccines, announcement of additional fiscal support in some countries, and signs that economies are coping better with measures to suppress the virus, the report has said. That's all in the Business Prime. Back to you, Shubhendu.
Thanks very much, Ajay, for joining us with those inputs. Let's now find out what's making news across the world. And let's begin with the updates on the US COVID aid. Well, the US House of Representatives will today vote on President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan. The chamber aims to approve the rescue package in time for President Joe Biden to sign it before the key unemployment programs expire on Sunday. The Senate passed the legislation on Saturday. Biden has already said he will sign the legislation as soon as it reaches his desk. Meanwhile, US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that US Treasury will work to quickly distribute $350 billion in aid to state and local governments from the stimulus bill. The Treasury is also responsible for sending out $1,400 payment to individuals as part of Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act. Brazil, the second worst hit country from coronavirus pandemic after the US has shot another grim milestone. The South American country registered over 1,970 fatalities in a single day, taking the total toll to cross 268,500. Brazil's health authorities have been scrambling to tackle a constant uptick in the number of cases of COVID. Rio de Janeiro-based research institute Fiocruz has revealed that more than 80% of intensive care unit beds are occupied in the capitals of 25 of Brazil's 27 states. In 15 of Brazil's largest cities, 90% of ICU beds have been occupied. The government has vaccinated just 3.5% of its population. It has registered more than 1,11,25,000 cases of the disease. The European Union is likely to issue its approval for COVID-19 vaccine of Johnson & Johnson soon. Addressing news conference, French Commissioner Thierry Breton said the approval for Johnson & Johnson jab would bring the number of vaccines available in the EU to 4. This would help the EU meet its target of 300 million doses in the second quarter, even if some of the producers experience problems. The coronavirus situation worsens in Palestine as well. Health system in Palestine is on the brink of collapse, with intensive care units operating at 100% capacity in some areas of West Bank. Palestinian authorities have introduced full lockdowns over the past couple of weeks to contain exponential rise in the number of cases of COVID. The West Bank and Gaza, which are home to a combined 5.2 million Palestinians, have received around 34,700 vaccine doses to date. These came from small donations by Israel and Russia, as well as 20,000 sent by United Arab Emirates to Gaza. Let's now also look at the update on the COVID-19 front from across the world. So far, 11 crore 82 lakh people have contracted COVID-19 globally, while the tally of recovery stands at over 9 crore 38 lakh who've recovered from the disease. The COVID-19 has claimed over 26 lakh 23,000 lives worldwide. US continues to remain the worst affected from COVID, where more than 2 crore 98 lakh cases of COVID-19 have been traced. The country's fatalities have also crossed the 5 lakh 40,000 mark. Some other news from across the world. Anti-coup protesters poured out to the streets in Myanmar's second largest city, Mandalay, where they were met with tear gas and security forces crackdown. Protesters demand the release of Suu Kyi, the leader, and the respect of November's election that her party had won in a landslide, but which the army rejected. The army has said it will hold democratic elections at an unspecified date. United Nations reported that at least 50 people have been killed since the military overthrew Aung San Suu Kyi, the country's elected leader. Meanwhile, US State Department spokesman Ned Price has again expressed displeasure over military crackdown in Myanmar. He said the United States is repulsed by the continued use of lethal force by Myanmar's army against its own people.
Of lethal force against the people of Burma. We strongly condemn the use of violence by...
Some more news from the United States. The US State Department on Tuesday blacklisted 2 Iranian officials from Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, accusing them of their involvement in human rights violation during a 2019 and 2020 protest in Iran. US State Department has stated that IRGC officials Ali Hamtian and Masood Safdari and their immediate family members are now ineligible for entry into the US. US State Department spokesman Ned Price said at a briefing, the US is committed to promoting accountability for those responsible for human rights violations and abuses. That includes in Iran.
In our interests. And an Iran that is permanently and verifiably barred from ever obtaining a nuclear weapon is in our interests, just as we uphold and act in accordance with our values. And it is consistent with our values to make clear that there will be consequences for the sort of gross violations of human rights that these individuals engaged in.
The FBI in the US has released new security footage of suspect who placed pipe bombs outside of Republican National Committee and Democratic National Committee headquarters in Washington, D.C. on January 5th. The FBI authorities continue to seek more information about the suspect. 2 pipe bombs near Democratic and Republican Party headquarters were planted on January 5th, the night before the insurrection at the Capitol. The videos, which offer multiple angles from several surveillance cameras, offer a clearer look at a masked individual who is wearing a hood as a person moves through neighborhoods and near the RNC and DNC. FBI has previously released photos of the suspect, who can be seen wearing a grey hoodie, black and light grey, Air Max speed shoes. That's part of his identity. And time now to get all the action from the world of sports. My colleague Anil Thomas is here with all the updates.
Well, thank you, Shubhendu. Let's start first up with table tennis, where India's top-rank paddler Achanta Sharat Kamal has produced a stunning performance against world number 16 Patrick Franchiza to make his way into the last 16 stage at the WTT Star Contender Tournament in Doha. The veteran came through a thrilling match, 12-10, 3-11, 11-7, 7-11, 11-9 win over the German athlete in the men's singles second round match. In a hard-fought 5-setter tie, the seasoned campaigner from India began the battle with a 1-0 lead before the German Franchiza Shaw making a comeback to level the scores. Third and fourth game also saw equal domination from both players as they took the match into the fifth. However, the 9-time senior national champion and world number 32 kept his calm in the crucial decider and got the better of Franchiza to war up the match in his favour. Sharat will now face world number 10 German Dmitry Ocharov in the pre-quarter-finals later today. Out of football, FC Porto defeated the Italian heavyweights Juventus to advance to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Porto, playing with 10 players for most of the second half, were able to defeat Juventus thanks to Sergio Oliveira's goal in the 115th minute. The match of the second leg was won by Juventus, but Porto, having won that first leg 2-1, managed to progress because the scores were level at 4-4 after both legs. But Porto, because they managed to score 3 away goals, in the end managed to take home that win and move into the quarterfinals. Porto won the match, Federico and Roberto scoring both the goals in the match for Juventus, while Sergio Oliveira managing to score both the goals for Porto. German club Borussia Dortmund have made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Borussia managed to beat Sevilla in a match played on late Tuesday night. In the second match between the two teams, that was played out to a 2-2 draw. However, in the first leg, Borussia Dortmund won the match 3-2, and on an aggregate score of 5-4, they progressed into the quarterfinals. German club have made it to the last 8 after having an aggregate score, and thanks to Haaland, who scored both the goals for Dortmund in that second leg. In this way, Haaland has now scored 20 goals in 14 Champions League matches and is now the flavour of the season. At the same time, he became the first player to score 2 or more goals in 4 consecutive Champions League matches. Barcelona, meanwhile, travelled to Paris hoping to overturn a 4-1 or a 1-4 deficit from that first leg of the Champions League last 16 battle with Paris Saint-Germain. The French club thrashed Barcelona in that first leg but cannot afford to be overconfident going into this game. Barcelona have been a resurgent force this month and have enjoyed an excellent week both on and off the fields. The Spanish team stunned Sevilla with a brilliant comeback in the Copa del Rey last week and need to pull off a similar result in this outing playing away. Paris Saint-Germain have managed to recover from a slow start to the season and will be looking for a treble in the coming months. The French champions have kept clean sheets in their last 3 games and will be confident ahead of this fixture at home. Barcelona have a marginal advantage over Paris Saint-Germain as far as head-to-head record is concerned and have won 4 of their 9 matches played between the two teams. PSG have managed 3 victories against the Spanish club Barcelona and have troubled their opponents in recent years. The first leg took place last month and ended in an emphatic 4-1 victory for the French club at Camp Nou. Kylian Mbappe scoring a sensational hat-trick on the day and will want to make his mark on this fixture. RB Leipzig will look to overturn a 0-2 deficit as they take on Liverpool in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League round of 16 tie. Due to COVID-19 quarantine rules, the venue of the second leg of the round of 16 match between Liverpool and Leipzig has shifted from Anfield to Budapest. The Bundesclub will otherwise now have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and going by their home form of late, Liverpool might not feel too bad about the venue change. An injury-ravaged Liverpool have been in horrendous form in the Premier League. They have lost all of their last 6 home matches and are going unbeaten at Anfield for 68 consecutive matches prior to their slump in form. Injuries have played a major hand in Liverpool's drop of form, but their strikers are not firing, and that's a major cause of concern for manager Jurgen Klopp. On to tennis, South African qualifier Lloyd Harris claimed a thrilling 7-6, 6-7, 7-5 victory over Swiss 3-time Grand Slam champion Stanislaus Wawrinka in the opening round of the Qatar Open in Doha. The world number 84 got the crucial break in the 11th game of the third set before closing out the match and setting up a round of 16 game against last week's World Tennis Tournament finalist Martin Fukush of Hungary. In the bottom half of the draw, 6th seed Belgian David Goffin defeated Serbia's Filip Krajinovic 6-4, 6-4, while Daniel Evans will take on a returning Roger Federer for a place in the quarterfinals. Of the British players saw off Frenchman Jeremy Chardy 6-1, 1-6, 6-4, 1-6, 6-2. Well, that's all in sports. Back to Shubhendu for more.
Thanks very much, Anil, for joining us with those updates. And as the world is going through the worst ever public health crisis, multiple challenges are cropping up, as many are proven to be airborne. To overcome this challenge, Aerofix Systems, a tech startup, has introduced UV Heal Safe Air. This is an ultra-modern UV-based air disinfectant for central air conditioning systems to halt the spread of airborne diseases. Here's more.
Mr. Ankit, you are one of the leading leading player when it comes to providing this unique solution. How this UV Heal product helps during, let's say, pandemic era where we know that coronavirus travel in the air. How this going to be a game changer for a country like India?
Our system is called UV Heal Safe Air, and the name has been very carefully selected. UV Heal, we heal buildings, and safe air, we believe that we are providing safe air not only to the buildings but to the people working within the buildings. The reason for this is that the UV lamps that we see here, we put this within the air conditioning systems, whether that's in the duct or within the AHU itself. And UV as a principle has been known to work against disinfecting air at a particular rate. What we have done to make this an even better process, and where we differentiate ourselves, is that we give our clients the ability to know what's going on a real-time basis. So on a real-time basis, we're able to tell our clients how much percentage of coronavirus we're killing, or how much percentage of adenovirus, or the various types of pathogens that we see in the air. We basically portray it at a real-time basis.
Also, this particular system is very unique for a country like India. I'm not sure many countries have this sort of a system. Did you guys do any market research and come up with the whole idea?
Yeah, extensive market research was done at the time. We actually basically saw the amount of buildings that use centralized air conditioning in today's day of world, and the amount of buildings that are coming up. Looking at that research, we thought that this was the right time to introduce this to India. If it's in the West, why not here?
Have you made any patent of this particular technology?
Yeah, we filed for a patent for many different features of this product, and we're hopeful that we will get it very soon.
And tell us more about companies which are using this particular product. Where are you marketing this particular product?
So we are marketing this in various segments across the industry, which includes hospitals, it includes commercial offices, it includes factories. We also have done it in various restaurants. And right now we've done over 50 major projects across India.
That was Ankit Sharma telling us that this particular product of UV Heal air disinfectant is going to be a game changer for a country like India, where a pandemic is now waning, but important steps have to be taken care before one gets into the normal mode of life. With camera person Kumar Datta, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India, Delhi.
Now, pain is always like a stab on body parts, but healing from it is always like breathing in again fresh air. The same is true for Japan 10 years after it recovered from the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami. Students in South Korea painted the then scenario of Japan when the calamity struck on March 11. Before we end this edition of Midday Prime, we are leaving you with the glimpses of these students and their work. Take a look. Namaskar.